Yo, what is up, YouTube? It is your boy, HB Clips, aka Pretty Boy Ray. And today, I have a very interesting topic for y'all. So, I was just thinking about this literally as I was making my breakfast. I got some boiled eggs right here. I did have some turkey bacon, but I finished the turkey bacon. So, yeah, I got boiled eggs. You feel me? But today, we are going to talk about if social media performativism social media performativism and imagery are killing love in today's society. Now, I was just thinking about this because it's so crazy that I feel like a lot of people are willing to like put up with stuff that they are not willing to really put up with just to have like the imagery of love. And like this goes with, like, for example, posturing or posing a image online about having the perfect life or relationship. And this goes back to the saying of like comparison is the thief of all joy, because I feel like a lot of people want to have like or post or show people that they have a perfect relationship because social media has everybody in a competition that they're not really aware of, in the sense of like, oh, I gotta show you that my life is better than your life, or I need to show you that, like, basically I am in a further place. And then you see other people's lives and you're like, oh, I want my life to be like this. I want my life to be extravagant. I want my life to be like a reality TV show, basically. And the reason why I say that kind of ruins things and ruins the image of love is because it will have you put up with a lot of stuff you know you really shouldn't, out of the sense of, oh, like, I'm gonna post this with my boyfriend, or I'm gonna post this with my girlfriend, and then you're recording all these memories of the good times, even though, let's say, for example, behind the camera, behind the scenes, you're not happy. But like, you're like, everybody thinks I'm happy, so that's good enough for me. Everybody thinks my life is perfect, so that's good enough for me. And I feel like I can understand where that comes from, because I have been in that position before, where it's like, oh, like, yes, I want a family, a wife, kids, but was I really willing to put up with stuff because I thought that that's what was making me happy in a moment? Or was it like I was actually happy in a moment? And like, looking back, I could see like, oh, there's a lot of things where I put up with that I know I shouldn't have, because of the fact that I was like, oh yeah, I want love so bad and I want to have this perfect life. And I always believe love is just putting up with stuff just because, and that's not really like what it is. Like, love is putting up with stuff, but not like tolerating disrespect in a way, or like putting yourself second. It's okay, you did this thing, now we could get through this and talk about it, but if this continues to be a problem, then I shouldn't put up with this, if that makes sense. But a lot of times people just keep, like, you know what I'm saying, going back and forth doing the same thing. And also, society tells us, for example, that like all these toxic traits of like, oh, a man is supposed to do this, a woman's supposed to do that. You got the red pill community for men, poisoning young men's minds, and then you got also the woman community also kind of like posturing like a negative sense of self for women, where it's like, oh, you need a provider, man. Like, if your man not doing this, if your man not buying you a Birkin, if your man not doing this, blah blah blah. When it's like, everybody has different like possibilities for what they're able to do. Not everybody could get you a Birkin. Not everybody is gonna be able to do all this stuff. Sometimes things is a teamwork. And I feel like a lot of people will let the social media um trick them into believing like, oh, my relationship gotta be like this, my man gotta be like this, when that's not really what it has to be. Now, should I say you should accept your man or your woman not doing anything for you? No, that's not at all what I'm saying. But if it's real love, which I would hope that's what you're in a relationship for and not benefits, then, like, you know what I'm saying, that's something you got to come to terms with, where it's like not everything is going to be where not everything's going to be perfect all the time and to the T, because life is not a movie. Life is not a reality TV show, and life is not social media. How easy it is for you to get online and post when your life is going well or when your relationship is going well. Does that mean that you have a perfect life? No. So when you get on social media and you see other people doing this, that, and the third, then you gotta also be able to understand, like, if I could get online and only post when my life is going good, other people could do that same thing. So why am I comparing my life to other people's perfect perception of what they got going on? You feel me? My fault, I was eating an egg. And that was something that I also had to learn, in the sense of like not comparing myself to things I seen on social media. Yeah, that was something I had to learn. My fault. I got locked in with that R. But that's something I had to learn, like, to not really like let social media run my perception of life, and like also just and that's also something that the Bible has helped me with. Like appreciating what God gives me instead of looking at what God gives other people. Because a lot of the times when you start to focus on the things God gave you instead of the things He didn't give you, you really come to the realization that life is not that bad. We just make it harder for ourselves because we always want more. And that's the thing about humans in general, like in the sense of like, when are we ever satisfied for real? Are we ever going to be satisfied? And what does satisfaction even look like? When is it enough? Because we always hear those stories, and even celebrity shows. You have celebrities that are like addicts. You have celebrities that tell you all the time like, oh, like, I am not happy, and money don't mean nothing to me. But we all tell ourselves like, oh, this celebrity is yapping, like, if I had that much money, I would be fine, blah blah blah. But you also don't know what, not repercussions, but what they paid to, not paid, because I'm not saying like they sacrificed their family or anything, but like what losses did they endure to get to that point? Because to get to that point of success, you got to deal with an amount of focus where you got to like literally put almost everything behind you. And we hear that all the time. For example, when I was listening to Baby Keem's album, he was expressing like, oh, like he had to let everything go. He had to make sacrifices. Because that was what was required of his success. Like, if he really wanted to get to a position where like his success was something where like he could be proud of, he would literally just had to lock in whatever he was doing. And he talks about how like he regrets like not being able to get his uncle help even though he had the money too, because he was so locked in. He also talks about how he regrets not being there for his grandma, or like when she died in the house that he bought her, because he was in a booth, he was recording music, he was trying to please the fans, please the people. Like everything in life, well, they say nothing in life is free, and in a sense that could be true. And it's like, is all of that really worth it? Like, you got to think about it like this. You would say like, if I was in the celebrity's shoes, if I had that much money, I'll be happy, I'll be able to solve all my problems. But would you be able to deal with the pain of knowing that your grandma died in the house that you bought her while you were working? Would you be able to deal with the pain that even though you have all this money, you couldn't stop the fact that your uncle died from overdosing because he was addicted? And even though you feel like you had the resources, some people just don't want to stop. Like, for example, that documentary thing type thing that he released of the footage of his uncle saying, I'm never gonna stop. Like, you could do whatever you want, but I'm not gonna stop. And it's like, you really gotta come to terms with that kind of stuff. I don't know how I got onto the topic of like that side of things, but yeah, I don't know if y'all get what I'm trying to say, but it's like social media and society in general has taught us to glorify lives that are not ours and compare our lives to everything else, and literally that takes away the satisfaction from ourselves. Like, we would be so much happier with ourselves if we were able to come to terms with the fact that our lives are what's meant for us, and they don't have to be perfect, because nobody's life is perfect. But there's good in the world and there's also bad in the world. Now, if you allow the bad to ruin the good every single time, you're not truly living, because you're not living in your gifts. And also, this goes back to the video I uploaded yesterday about, does bad bring good in the world? And you may be able to say like, okay, but why does this bad exist? Like, why does God allow all these things to happen? And it's like, that's not for me to know or understand, or me to even question. But like, you know how egotistical it is? For example, let's say if you do believe in a God, how egotistical it is for you to just be like, oh, Why does God do this? Why don't I understand? If you do believe in a God and a higher being, are you going to understand everything the higher being does? No, because it's a higher being. It's out of our understanding. It's out of our even realm. Now, I believe God wants us to understand as much as he can, and he gives us the word for that same purpose. But we also have to humble ourselves to be like, I can't understand everything. That's why the Bible even preaches like, oh, don't lean on your own understanding. Lean on your faith in God. Because the truth be told, we're never going to understand the world. We're never going to understand everything God wants us to understand, because we have our own selfish perception of how perfect we want everything to be. And yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to go with this topic or conversation is like, try to be happy with what you have. Try to not let comparison or social media or society dictate your definition of love and what that means to you. Don't say, oh, I shouldn't love this person because this doesn't look like what so and so's relationship look like, or this doesn't look like this, or you know what I'm trying to say. Basically, just don't do it. You will find way more pleasure and way more love in your heart if you just appreciate life. Just appreciate life. And I feel like that's something that's also helped me learn to love myself. I feel like before I used to see like relationships or whatever as like, oh, I need to have this perfect relationship where I get married, I have kids, I own a house, I do this, I do that. Like, oh, we go out every day, blah blah blah. But that's not realistic, and also that's not how life works. And I think that perspective also helped me to love myself more, because it allowed me to just be more accepting of myself and realize I do not have to be perfect. My relationship does not have to be perfect. It just has to be what it is. Oh my god, that was a big W. That was a big fat W. Y'all saw that? That was a big play. But yeah. Basically, just love yourself, y'all. And I hope y'all have a blessed day.